All right. Well, hanging out with Roman Anthony, top prospect in the Red Sox organization. I wore the shirt, man, World Series 2018, just for the occasion. So,
Let's go.
um, yeah, cool to be able to chat with you, kid. Roman actually is friends, played with my son Isaiah at the East Coast Pro Showcase a few years back, right? And then was drafted by the Red Sox. What round?
Second round in the comp in the second round, so 79th pick.
Awesome.
But yeah, it
Awesome. Well,
feels like just
welcome.
yesterday I was with Day and East Coast Pro, and here we
What's
are.
oh yeah, right? It was just seemed like it was just,
I
and then a
know.
few years go by. Now you're just rising through the system with the Red Sox. So just wanted to kind of talk about your year, man. You started off kind of scuffling, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you turned it on, ended up in AAA, and then people talking about you as being one of the guys, one of the top position player prospects in the organization with a chance to go to big league camp and maybe have a chance to make the team. You never know in this day and age, right? So how did that
yep,
happen? Tell me about that. How that transition happened.
yeah. I think as a 19-year-old kid starting the year, over in Double A and playing up in the Northeast, being a Florida guy my whole life, it was obviously a big adjustment. An adjustment that everyone I think has to make at some point, especially when you're in this org. After high A, everything is up in the Northeast. So the beginning of the year is not. It can be rough, and it's an adjustment period for sure. And I went through that, no doubt. That first month there was a lot of ups and downs for me. Snowed in the first weekend, and just things like that, having to adjust, getting the body right, and being able to stay on top of everything in my day-to-day routine, and, even in those conditions, because better than anyone, right? When you play in October, it's not warm in Boston. So
No.
and that's the main goal. But I think just adjusting to that, and learning every day more about your body, and going about your routine and making adjustments each and every day, and learning about what you need to do in order to overcome that, because everyone that you're playing is going through it. So just adjusting to it, and learning how to play in those conditions was a big thing for me that first month. And I think it's funny, even playing in Worcester towards the end of the year, it starts to cool down even at the end of the year when you get into September. So but it was great. It was a lot of adjusting, learned a lot about myself and about my body and about my routine and what I had to do each and every day to kind of, have success, and stay consistent throughout the long season we play.
Yeah, that's great, man. You talk about routine. I remember you reached out early on when you were going through a little tough time, in the box and dealing with that cold and dealing with that transition of being in pro ball. And you had seen some of my stuff on Instagram, and obviously I was not in professional baseball anymore, and started down this journey myself. And we connected, and you asked for some help, and I had just gotten like the first prototype of that power pivot and was testing it out and looking for players. And I thought I used it myself. I used it with my son Isaiah in the cage and a couple other players, and had some success with it. And I thought, you know what, this would be this young man needs some help, and I'm going to send him one. We'll see what happens. And so tell me about that when you got it. Like, obviously, I remember sending you a couple custom little videos. Like, hey man, this is exactly how you use it. This is what you'll feel. And so, how did that all happen? And once you got it, and what did you feel, and how did it help you?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think it was exactly what I needed, and we talked about it, and talked about how I wasn't really staying in my backside very well, and wasn't using my legs, and again, I think that can all go back to the big adjustment, of playing in the cold, and learning a lot about your body and what you need to do. And I think this tool was a great help to me, especially in the beginning when I was struggling, kind of loading and coiling into that back hip, and using my backside, and looking at videos of myself and my swing, not really, like I said, using my legs, and using that kind of powerhouse in my backside. And I think for me, every time I've looked back, and anytime I've ever had success, I do a great job of kind of riding that backside, and really coiling into my back hip. And I think that's a great tool to help, because it really just kind of does it for you, right? You just kind of step on it, and you immediately feel that kind of connection all the way down from the foot, like really getting into the ground, all the way up to the hip. And for me, it was great. It was exactly what I needed. And, just kind of working that into my routine. And like I mentioned earlier, adjusting each and every day and kind of tinkering the routine here and there when it needs it. And I think that was a prime example of a time when, I really needed something like that. I think after that, a lot started to kind of go up but I think just, seeing something new and doing something new and working something like that into the routine can be such a help even mentally, doing something new, over a long year when it might not be going great at the beginning, or you might go through some rough patches, because we all do. But it was a great help, and it was a great tool for me at the time and what I needed, in my swing. And that was really the main thing at the time with my swing was that backside.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing all that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just hit, actually, you probably know this guy, McGuire Holbrook. He was a catcher at West Virginia, and he transferred to Florida State. He's a Florida kid. He said the exact same thing. He's like, it does it for you. Like, I feel it right away in my hip. I feel it all up through my leg. And
Hmm.
again, like when we're scuffling I call it noise, mental game stuff. When you're scuffling and you got this noise of, I'm a young guy in double A and it's cold and there's pressures and what's the organization thinking of me and what's my agent or what's my parents, like whatever noise you're putting in there that you're having to deal with, when you can take one of the plates off your shoulder and quiet the noise, so to speak, of I know where my power source is. I know how to freaking create bat speed every night. Now I might be hooking one night. It might be heading to right center tonight, but I know that I got my engine with me because I have this cue every day to feel it. And that's what I really learned from guys like JD Martinez and watching the transformation of Mookie in 2018 was like, they just started trusting this process every day of I'm going to really make sure my engine is working like it's supposed to, my back, hip. And if it is, then I'm going to trust my hands and eyes and my ability to be a hitter to do everything else. But the maintenance of it every day was there. There was something they were doing every day in their routine to make sure that that hip was turning underneath them and not around them. And I think that's what the device does more than anything.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And for me, being a guy like growing up, I was never somebody who had like really liked using a million different tools and constantly changing. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had a routine that I feel like has worked in that. Like I said, I've tinkered with a little bit, but it's overall it's been pretty similar. As long as I can remember through high school and even now through pro ball and I think that the power pivot tool is something that's so easy and so it's very easy for a minor league player to kind of transport with, throw it in your bag, and it's not a huge device, and it's not something that's super complicated, and it, like I said, it kind of really does the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think something like that was great for me because, like I mentioned, being a guy who doesn't really like to try a million different new things and do a ton of different drills, and somebody who's kind of just like I was always taught, that old fashioned style of hitting, and you go when your legs go, and getting into that backside and really using that engine in your backside and coiling into that hip. So I think it's just a great tool, and it's a great tool for a lot of guys out there who may be like myself, who have a good routine and who have had success with the routine, and don't really want to do a million different drills and change a lot. I think this is a perfect example of something that's so simple, that can help a ton.
Awesome, man. That's great stuff. I really appreciate you sharing that, and super excited for the next stages. We were before we started the recording, we were kind of talking about big league camp and a possibility to go have a chance to make a club and or at least be kind of right there, and show Alex Core and his coaching staff, who you are and what you can do. I'm well aware he knows all about you already. So just knowing Alex like I do, but this is something you're going to take with you all off season and working on that same move. I remember, you reaching out to me and then us communicating kind of a lot early. And then all of a sudden you didn't ghost me at all because you never do, but it wasn't I didn't hear from you as much because I think the light bulb started going on and it was like,
Mhm.
okay, I got this now. Like I'm pretty good anyway. Like I was blessed and so forth. And now I got this engine connected and I got this routine that's kind of moving me in this direction. Now I can go be who I am. I can go have the year you had and play in the futures game and be one of the top prospects in baseball. So congratulations, kid. I'm glad. And I feel actually humbled, actually saying, all of this, that we're able to connect remotely and work remotely and talk through sending videos for you to be able to like apply things, and then you go be you and take your, I'm just part of the journey, and you're just going to keep on this journey, and just to be a part of it's humbling. So I really appreciate you allowing me to and trusting me to be a part of it, and wish nothing but the best for you and your family, and just keep in touch and be a friend to Isaiah, and don't be a stranger. So good luck to you, kid, and have a great off season
Absolutely.
and enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate everything from your end, and tell the family hello. Tell Zay I said hello. I'm always following him, and like to see, what he's doing. But we'll connect soon, and I appreciate everything this year. And I'm glad we got to talk.
Awesome. Means a lot, Roman. Thanks a lot, kid. I appreciate you hopping on. Thanks again.
Thank you. Have a
All
good
righty.
one.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.